Hello and welcome back to Planet Nibiru, where anything is possible. Today we'll be talking about microbial intelligence, the IQ of common things that you probably didn't even consider intelligent at all. And we have an update on all things homunculus, so strap in and get ready for a flight on Planet Nibiru. Okay, first things first, you guys have been screaming for it, and I don't blame you. Every time I put out a video, I must get 100 comments that ask, when are you going to put out a new homunculus video? And, you guys, I don't put out anything just to put them out. I usually wait until Corny puts out an update or if I have something specific to say about it. But I do have big news coming along. So, as I mentioned in a couple of replies, starting at the top, we have Corny's new homunculus creation. Now, it's been well over 40 days since he started this new creature, and we have not heard a word from him on it. So I have not heard a word from him. I have emailed him a few days ago asking for updates. He has not contacted me back yet. So as soon as I hear from Corny, I will let you guys know. But we don't have any news on the homunculus, the new one that he started, or the updates, any updates on the existing homunculus creature. Now, as I stated in some comments that I've replied to on the other videos, I have been contacted by a viewer who is going to create a homunculus, and he wants me to document the story. He has a farm, he has access to clean eggs of the type needed to create a homunculus. He's very interested in the science end of this, and he wants to create this and possibly other genetically modified things. And he would like me to document all of this on video. So, he's local to me. I have agreed in spirit to do this. We're currently emailing about the project, and we're kind of ironing things out about how we would do that. But I wanted to put it out there for you guys. What do you think? Should I produce the videos of this new attempt at a homunculus? It might not amount to anything. I don't know, but it might be really, really cool. I really am leaning towards doing this because I'm intrigued by what we could do and what we could see. But I want to know what you guys think. So let me know what you think I should do. I want to do this, but I want your opinion. Let me know what you think. So that's all for the homunculus. Now, on to the subject of today's video, which is in many ways related to the homunculus. There's a thing called microbial intelligence. Microbial intelligence is the intelligence of single-celled organisms, especially when they act in groups. Now, when you get a bunch of single-celled organisms do have an intelligence level, and they can think for themselves. When they're in groups, they act more intelligent because they can send, parts of themselves out to do things, and they act very complex, show remarkable abilities to organize themselves in changing circumstances, and you can see things like shell building by amoebas that reveal complex discrimination and manipulative skills that we would ordinarily think occur only in multicellular organisms. Microbial intelligence, single-celled intelligence, is very common. Now, bacteria do show primitive behavior as isolated cells, and they can display more sophisticated behavior as a population. These behaviors occur in single-species populations or in mixed species populations. Examples of colonies would be like mycobacteria, quorum sensing biofilms, and it's been suggested that a bacterial colony loosely mimics a biological neural network. And a neural network is like your brain and your spinal cord. When we think of bacteria and single-celled animals, we certainly don't think that they can perform complex functions or that they are capable of thought on any level. But when you see how these colonies of bacteria organize themselves and accomplish tasks, you will see that they are quite intelligent. And not only are they quite intelligent, but they actually mimic, in many, many ways, the neural networks of more advanced creatures, even humans. So the bacteria can take inputs in the form of chemical signals, they process them and produce output chemicals to signal other bacteria in the colony and give them commands and things like that. Bacteria communication and self-organization in the context of network theory has been investigated by the Eshel Ben Jacob Research Group at the Tel Aviv University, which has developed a fractal model of bacterial colony and identified linguistic and social patterns in the colony life cycle. So what this is saying is that they are speaking to each other in the colonies of bacteria, which is crazy. Think of the implications of that bacteria have a capacity for communication and self-organization. They can talk to each other and they can tell each other, hey, we need some people over here to do this, we need some people over here to do that. And these are characteristics of multi-celled organisms, not single-cell. Bacteria, which are often found in soil and live in symbiotic harmony with plants and roots. They help roots access nutrients. In exchange, the bacteria eat sugar from the roots. So there's a very symbiotic relationship. For that reason, bacteria are now applied in agriculture to increase the productivity of plants and make them stronger against pests and disease. And they can be used instead of fertilizer in many circumstances, and also the plants can use them against insects and fungi. So there's a lot of uses for bacteria, and more importantly, in your gut, bacterial colonies take things that you can't digest and they finish the process off for you, that digestion process. Their deal with you is that if you feed them your favorite foods, they will munch them and you'll crap out what they can't digest. And their excrement will be on par with honey and ambrosia to you. They'll crap out the raw fuels that power you, and you'll keep feeding them these things that they like. So in everybody's gut is this rainforest of bacteria, all different kinds, these colonies of bacteria, and they do these jobs with you. And if you didn't have them, you'd die. You need bacteria in your life in order to do the things that you do. The foods that we eat, many people think that those power us, but that's not what happens. The what powers us is whatever this bacteria outputs. The bacteria attacks these foods, and then they put out these things that power us. It's not the food itself. The bacteria is the middleman. These colonies in our guts make vitamins for us. They make vitamin P, vitamin K, vitamin B. Without your interior bacterial support team, we wouldn't live. We just couldn't survive. To the bacteria inside of us, we are our bodies, our minds, everything. We're just a convenient, self-guided transport vehicle that is really good at gathering food and grinding it up for them. That's it. To the bacteria that lives in our gut, we're just this mechanism that they find convenient to live inside because we're really good at sending the stuff in that they like, which is, the foods that we eat. The bacteria is doing the real work. They're doing the digesting, and they are converting that eclair into something that we can use. So, it's pretty, the jobs that bacteria do is pretty amazing. And bacteria they adapt really, really, really well. They are really good at surviving. They have water that was used to cool nuclear reactors, and this water, hardly anything can live inside of it because of all the radioactivity. Well, they found that indeed bacteria can form in this water that was used in this radioactive to cool radioactive rods. Now, radioactivity periodically shatters the entire genome, and without a genome you can't survive. But these bacteria, specifically they're called Deinococcus radiurans, have been built with compression and storage systems that allow them to hold on to their critical data and reconstruct their genome over and over and over again. Now think about that. Radioactivity will shatter entire genomes. I mean, it crushes things. I mean, radioactivity is very, very strong, and it will kill things even down to the bacterial level. However, certain bacteria have developed ways to fight radioactivity. Basically, they're fighting nuclear weapons, and they're winning because they have found a way to copy all the data that they need to rebuild themselves and store it within themselves. That's crazy, right? Think of the IQ that's needed to do that. The research and development that's needed to be able to, number one, map your own genome, then code that into data that you can understand and that you can use over and over and over again in case you get obliterated, to rebuild yourself. I mean, that's amazing. And that is the working of a collective intelligence. It's the work of collective innovation and a breakthrough machine that humans cannot and have not been able to replicate. We cannot do that. We cannot copy what this little bacterial cell is doing. Think about that. If colonies of single-celled organisms can do this, then what can multi-celled organisms accomplish? In researching this, I started to look at what the IQ of simple things and like foods were. And if you research, you can find out that like gelatin, when you have a bowl of Jello, if you flip it over and you run an EEG through it, bowl of Jello literally mimics a human's brain. Jello has an IQ of 2, which is crazy. So I'm reading on, and then I find out that broccoli has an IQ of 10. And I'm like, wow, this is just amazing. Average humans have an IQ of like, say, 90 to 110. Anything above 130 is like gifted, and then above like 160, you're just a freaking genius, right? And it feels pretty good to be human, but then you think about it and you're like, well, I'm only 10 times smarter than broccoli. Right? So your teacher is only 9 or 10 times, or your boss, is only 9 or 10 times smarter than broccoli, and so are we. So that's crazy when you think about it, right? So which brings us back to the homunculus again, and we say, are they smart? Well, I wish we could measure the IQ of a homunculus, and I'm sure maybe there's a way. Some scientist out there probably has a way to measure its IQ, but and would a homunculus be even smarter if it was in groups like bacteria? Now we've seen that we've seen two homunculus merge to create something better and bigger. So that leads us to believe that maybe they are more intelligent in groups. So when you think about the homunculus, the genes that the homunculus is working with, it has a pretty strong start. They've got human genes, they've got chicken genes. Those are pretty strong genes to start off with, especially looking at the intelligence of things like single-celled animals, like pond scum. So in a recent study on pink freezer slime, scientists were impressed by the ability of the slime to not only conduct itself in a manner that was intelligent, but the level of intelligence displayed by the slime was nothing short of amazing. The experiment was based on a reward map that placed food rewards in specific areas to see how the slime learned where the food was and how it could transfer the food to itself. The map was laid out identically to a map of Tokyo and the surrounding cities, and the food was placed in a way that mimicked the Tokyo subway system. The scientists watched as the slime branched out in search of the food. In the first 28 hours, the slime moved out in patterns that were almost identical to human and animal hunting patterns. After searching in logical sectors for the first day, the slime then reorganized itself into a system that was even more efficient than the Tokyo subway system. Scientists were awestruck to see the slime's ability to evaluate possible routes and then reorganize into the most efficient route possible. These findings were noted and are currently being studied by Japanese civil engineers as possible upgrades to the Tokyo subway system. How awesome is that? To think that we may put into use methods that were created by pink freezer slime is nothing short of insane, right? Now, of course, all this speaks in many, many ways to the abilities of all living things and their capacity for intellect. Specifically, it says a lot about single-celled organisms, but by proxy, we can infer that multi-celled and complex life forms are all the more capable. When we begin to understand that all life is intelligent, then we can start to comprehend how complex life forms, like ultimately humans being the most intelligent life form, react, learn, and evolve. So, what are your thoughts on microbial intelligence and the capacity for intellect in simple life forms. Do you think that a complex life form like a homunculus could be as smart as a human? Could it even be smarter? So get in the comment section and let us know. We'll be bringing you more information on the homunculus as soon as we get it and as it arrives. And please let me know what you think about the new guy and his experiments, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Also, again, in the next video, we're going to be discussing this alternative view of evolution, and I really think it's going to blow your mind. It's going to be super cool. It blew my mind when I read it, and I was kind of dumbstruck just with how much sense it made and how cool it was in general. It's just amazing stuff. So anyway, thank you guys for all your likes, subscribes, and comments, and we'll see you in the next video.